3, 2, 1, action. Hello everyone, this is James at the Marshall Archive. A couple of weeks ago I got in a load of posters from Hong Kong, and a few people have expressed an interest in seeing exactly what I got. So I've taken photos of them, and unfortunately my computer is being annoying because Photoshop has some glitch in it, and I can't put watermarks on the photos as I wish to. So I had to download some software from the internet to put watermarks on the pictures, and I spaced them out as wide as the program would let me, and I spent 30 minutes messing about on something that should have taken 5 minutes and done. So they are the way they are. They got too many watermarks on them. You'll just have to live with it, I'm afraid. So here's the story. A few months ago, found a guy on the internet in Hong Kong who advertised that he had a load of film posters he wanted to sell, and I saw pictures of some of them and I thought, well, I'm interested, so I asked him the price, and the price was reasonable. So I did what I usually do. I asked, what else have you got? Now, unfortunately, there are often times when people will say, well, what are you looking for? Which is not helpful, because I could list 1,000 things that I want and you don't have any of them. It's better for you to tell me the 10, 20 that you have. In this case, he actually had about 215. Some of the posters I have already, some of them I don't really care for. So I narrowed it down. I set a budget, a certain amount of money that I was willing to spend on this transaction. I got it down to about 115 that I could be interested in, but the financial limit that I set was enough to pay for about 90. So it was like a set price per poster, but some of them he was like, well, they might cost more. There's some that cost me more and they're rare. So I just sent him 115 and I said, can you pick 90 from these that you're willing to do for that price? He said, okay. Now, unfortunately, people in Hong Kong seem to no longer accept payments by any easy method. Now, I used to buy by PayPal in the early 2000s and the late 90s when I was buying stuff from Hong Kong on eBay. But no one in Hong Kong seems to accept that payment anymore. So I had to send in payment by bank transfer, which costs about $40 to do. It's 1,300 baht on top of the amount that you're sending. So I decided that I should buy a lot of stuff rather than just a couple. If you just buy one or two, then it's not worth adding that fee on top of everything else. So anyway, he sent me 93 posters in the end. He sent me a few extras, and rightly so, because it took him 10 weeks to send anything. So first he gave me a bank number and I did the transfer, and it's quite difficult because the bank will only do it at certain times of day on a weekday, and I'm working at a school 5 days a week, so I cannot get to the bank at the time that I need to do it. However, we did have a few days off for the end of term and marking exams and stuff. So I did manage to get to a bank briefly, but then the payment was bounced back minus the fee because he gave me the wrong bank details. The number was wrong. So he sent me the right number and I resent minus the fee, and so he got less than he was gonna get. And I thought, well, maybe he'll send me a few less posters, but he actually sent me 3 extra, which was good of him. Thank you for that, if you ever see this. Now, unfortunately, it did take him 10 weeks once all was done. Well, from the start to the end took 10 weeks for him to actually send anything. And I was getting rather concerned. I thought he's going to rip me off and take my money and not send me anything, which has happened before. And I always hate when it does, but he did come through in the end. Once he did send them, it took 4 days for them to come through from Hong Kong. Sadly, because he'd wrapped them up inside the tube in such a way that they were sliding about inside the tube, the ends got a bit bashed in. And I'm not happy about that, but what can you do? There's one in particular that got particularly damaged. So what I've done, I've taken photos of the posters. I'm going to show you my desktop. I'm going to run through the posters that are there and talk a bit about each one. A lot of these are Golden Harvest posters, which have probably come from Bay Logan one way and the other. Now, I used to think Bay was a good guy, but then I had a couple of interactions with him a few years ago where he was quite rude, so I stopped talking to him, and I haven't actually bought any of his stuff, although I do see other people who have, and I've seen what he has, and there's a lot of good stuff there that I would like to get. But I made a vow that I would never give that man money directly. Unfortunately, he is getting money from me indirectly, although as to whether this guy will actually go and buy more from him or not, I do not know, but that's between them. Anyway, he is the only way to get this stuff at the moment. Some of them are not Golden Harvest, and they probably haven't come from Bay, and I'll show you those too. So we'll just go through in alphabetical order, and some of them I do already have versions of, but they're originals from the time of the release that were used, and they got pinholes and fold damage, so I upgraded a few, and there's one that I bought by accident believing I didn't have it when I actually do have it. I've got 15,000 posters. I got more than 1,000 Hong Kong posters, and I should have checked first, but I didn't. I just totally forgot I got it. That's life, it happens sometimes. So that one's a spare. I'll tell you about that later. So let's click to the desktop and let's see what we've got. So first up we have Better Tomorrow Part 3, Love and Death in Saigon. It's not as good as the other two films in the series, obviously, but I do like anything with Chow Yun-fat. I have had this other poster from the film for many years. Unfortunately, not in the best condition. Whereas the new one that's coming is in pretty good condition. There's some edge wear, a little bit, but it's not too bad. Little bit of fold damage. It's very hard to get anything from A Better Tomorrow. I do have the American poster for A Better Tomorrow 1, but I don't have any others. I would love to get the Hong Kong posters. I would like to get the Japanese posters. They're also pretty good. Oh, actually, I might have A Better Tomorrow Part 2 Japanese. I think I got it from Matt Routledge a few years ago in a trade. I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head on some of these things. There's so many pictures that I've seen, it's hard to remember sometimes if I got it or I've just seen it somewhere. Alright, next up, Chinese Ghost Story 3. This is one of the extra bonus posters he sent me. Unfortunately, it got a little bit bent. I think that was my fault when I was laying them out flat. I'm not a big fan of this film. I like 1, kind of. Not keen on Part 2. I didn't like Part 3 at all. I also have the Thai poster and the French lobby cards. I'm not keen on the film. Next up, A Man Called Tiger. This one I've had a few years. I got this from Matt Routledge in a trade, the same one that I think I got the Better Tomorrow 2 Japanese poster in. But there's a better poster which I just got from the Hong Kong guy. I like this one a lot more. Unfortunately, it's a little bit damaged. There's some denting in it, but nice poster, good to have. Not a very good film though, sadly. People say that Bruce Lee was lined up to make this film before he died, and I can't help wondering how different it would be. The film as it stands, I love Jimmy Wang Yu, but I think it's one of his weaker films. I'm not keen on it. Queen's Ransom, Jimmy again. I have the DVD. I don't like the film very much. It's got a few good moments, but it mostly drags. It's too talky. There's not very much action. It's a shame, but I buy anything with Jimmy's face on it. I love Jimmy Wang Yu. I was very sad when he died. He was one of my favourites, actually. He made many, many good films. Most of them not a Golden Harvest. Most of his good stuff was in Taiwan, sadly. A Wily Match, this made by Low-Eye Films. Unfortunately, this one got a bit bashed in down the side. I've never seen this film. It looks like something I want to see. I should see it one day. Blonde Fury, Lady Reporter, A Better Tomorrow 2, whatever you want to call it. I've had this poster for a number of years. I got it from Canada, but as you can see, quite a lot of fold damage. And I rather like this film, so I've been hoping to upgrade for some time. So from this to this, definitely a pretty big upgrade. If anyone's interested in getting their hands on one, I have this one spare. I'll let it go cheap to try and recoup some of my loss from buying all of this stuff. Not super cheap, but pretty cheap. If you can get that one instead, you should. But if you can, and you really want one, this is available. Okay, next, Armor of God. I know it's an all-time classic, but I don't like the comedy in that film. The action is supreme, of course. I love the action scenes. About 30 minutes of the film is great. The other hour, not so keen. The Association, starring Byung-Yu. I think he made 2 or 3 films. He didn't make very many. I've only ever seen it on the American videotape. It's a strange film. But I'm a completist. I want to get everything. It's Golden Harvest and GF. I'm not sure what GF is. If it was a newer film, like 90s, I would say it's probably Golden Flare, but I don't think Golden Flare were around back then. I need to do some research on that and check up on what that is exactly. Back Alley Princess, Polly Shankwam. I do like Polly, and I like Sam Hui, but this film isn't particularly good. But again, I'm a completist, I must have everything. Beach of the War Gods. This is one of the extras that he sent me. I do actually already have this poster, so one of them will be a spare. I have to check the condition of the other one. I've also got the UK quad poster, which is awesome. Not as awesome as the Hong Kong poster though. I love the artwork on this one. I've also got the UK lobby card set, and I got the Hong Kong lobby card set. It's one of Jimmy's better films. I rather enjoy. The Bedeviled. I must admit, I know nothing about this film. I've never seen it. It doesn't look particularly interesting. I could be wrong. I hope to find out someday. This is one of the big reasons why I decided to buy from the guy. Not the #1 reason, but pretty high up the list. Unfortunately, it does have a bit of damage. It got a bit bashed in the post, which I'm sad about. I have had an A4 photocopy, color photocopy of this. I've had in my collection for about 20 years. It's nice to finally get the actual poster. I also have the small version of the French poster. I got about 25 years ago at Westminster Hall in London, one of their film days there. I don't know if they still do those anymore. But there was a French seller, and he had the red and white Un Bal Dans la Tête poster. Only about that big. Cost me £6 back then, which I thought was a bit much for how small it was, but it's still a good poster. There's also normal size and grande poster for that. I've never gotten those. I also have the Made in Hong Kong poster, which is enormous. It's rolled up in a very large tube on top of the wardrobe, along with their version of the Chinese Ghost Story poster. So I rather like Bullet in the Head. I know it's not as highly rated as the Chow Yun-Fat John Woo films amongst most fans. Most people would say, oh, John Woo's best film is A Better Tomorrow or The Killer or Hard Boiled. I still like Bullet in the Head. I don't think I could say it's his best film, but I do think it's an extraordinarily good film. Simon Yam in that film is great. Jackie Chung is great. Tony Leung is superb. It's one of the few times I've actually liked Wise Lee in a film. I'm not a big fan of him, in Bullet in the Head, he played it just right. It was perfect. It suited his character. Next, The Challenger, Low-Eye Films. Sadly a little bit dented, but a pretty good film. I love Choi Sil-kung, I love David Chang, I love Philip Kofe. This is not as good as the other film, The Loot, that they made together, but it's a pretty good film. I do rather enjoy it. Next, this is one of my favorite kiddie films, Child of Peach, Taiwanese film. If you've never heard of it, there's 3 official parts, all featuring this girl who's playing a boy, probably, but I don't think it's ever really made clear. And there are 2 unofficial sequels with the same actress. I'm struggling on her name right now. This film, spoiler alert, ends with a large monster made of peaches. It is a very, very weird film, and I love it. And I am very, very happy to finally get the poster for it. It's been high on my list for some time. I do, of course, have the Thai poster, but this is the first time I got this. City Hunter, Jackie Chan, 2 different posters. This is one of the earlier films that I got in my collection. I got it wasn't made in Hong Kong, it was it Eastern Heroes who did the box set? I think it was. The box set with the t-shirt and a little booklet. I got that when it came out. So that was mid-90s, sometime 95, 96 I think. I started watching Hong Kong films in 1994, late 94. And then through 95 and 96 I got a lot of the Jackie Chan stuff that was released in England because that was the easiest stuff to find. And I know City Hunter is not an all-time classic, but I love the end sequence with Richard Norton. I really enjoyed the Street Fighter 2 comedy fight, the Bruce Lee fight. There's some really good stuff in there. This still makes me laugh just thinking about it. So this was one of my favourites when I started out, and I still rather like it. It's fun. This film I've never seen. This is another low-Y film, and this one is called Crazy Chase. I know it did come out on VCD from Fortune Star, but I never managed to get hold of it at the time. I didn't have much money when all of those were around. Now I have the money, there's nothing good to buy. It's so expensive, Blu-rays, and I got versions of most of those films already anyway. So still need to get this one day, it looks interesting. Now this one I already knew was damaged because it was clear in the pictures that he sent me. But I think this is quite a rare poster. I believe it's from Crime Story. I need to check on that. I think it is. Crime Story, a strange film for Jackie. Very serious film. And I love the music in it. There are some good sequences. It's not really a big action film except for the end where he's chasing, was it Kent Chang, I believe, around the walled city. It's all on fire and blowing up. That sequence is good. There are the good bits in the film. I'd say about 15 minutes of it is good stuff. The rest is talky and a bit dull. But I do enjoy parts of Crime Story, and I'll get anything with Jackie's face on it if the price is right and I have the money at the time. I've got a lot of Jackie stuff. Here we have Dragons Forever. Like Armor of God, I love the action. I'm not keen on most of the rest of the film. Some of the comedy in it was good. A lot of it got a bit grating, especially between Samo and Danny Yip. I found it a bit irritating. But awesome action, and I do enjoy watching those parts. Next, Eastern Condors. This is one of the greatest films of all time. And of course I have the Thai poster for this. I do need to get the Hong Kong posters, the Chinese language posters with the landscape with all of the cast. I desperately want to get that poster one day. I would rather have that one than this one, but there's some nice art. Not as good as the art on the Thai poster, but I still like this. And it is one of my favourite films. First time I saw this, the guy who I borrowed Jackie Chan films from, which first got me interested in mid 1994, mid to late 94, I can't remember exactly when. I went to his house and he had a bootleg copy of Eastern Condors. And we watched it one night on his little TV. And it was a really awful copy, but I could see there was something special about it. And when it was released on videotape by Made in Hong Kong, I can't believe how happy I was. I could finally see a good copy of it, and man, it was good. Actually, before that, I did go... No, after that. I think after that I went to Hong Kong and I picked up the VCD of it as well. Then, of course, I got the Hong Kong Legends DVD when that came out. I know it's out on Blu-ray now from a few places, but I haven't got any Blu-rays. Well, I got about 50 Blu-rays, most of them American films. Blu-rays are not really that interesting when you've already got numerous different versions of the film, and DVD quality is fine for me. Anyway, next, Samo again. Spooky Encounters, also one of the greatest films ever made. I do have this poster already, but someone cut the white border off, and it's kind of weird. So I'm upgrading to an intact version. It is one of my favourite films. I gotta have a good version. I got 2 different Thai lobby sets from this. I wish I could find the Hong Kong lobby set. Never seen it. Seems to be very scarce. Next, Fearless Hyena. This is made by... what company? Goodyear, which is Low-Y under a different name. And I would say of Jackie's early work, this is probably my favourite. Maybe this or The Young Master. I can't decide between those two which one I like best from that period. The other Low-Y stuff had some good stuff in it. Dragon Lord had some good stuff, but I think for the time that it was made, Drunken Master and Snake and the Eagle's Shadow, of course, are very good too. But Fearless Hyena is the first time that Jackie directed, and you can clearly see how much better it is than the other Low-Y stuff. And just the choreography in that film is outstanding. Also in Young Master, the choreography is outstanding, but I can't decide which has the edge. I really love this film. Unfortunately, I didn't know that it's quite as damaged as it is when I saw the pictures the guy sent. I've got to try and find a better one of this someday. But it's a great poster for a great film. Very happy to have it. Now this one, Final Judgment. A Strange Cat 3 film starring Simon Yam, and a very strange poster. And I wasn't really sure if I want it or not, but Cat 3 does hold some interest to me sometimes. I don't like the Cat 3 sex films, but some of the Cat 3 violence is quite good sometimes. Escape from Brothel being a good example. If you take all of the crappy sex scenes out of that film, it's a pretty decent action film that you have left. Especially the end fight is quite good. Alex Fong Chung Sun is good at action. And it saddens me that they added all of that stuff to make it Cat 3 instead of doing a good action film. And there are other times when that's happened, like Women on the Run. Take out the horrid sex rape scenes, take all of that crap out, you got a good action movie. Very good action movie with Yoon Jung. What's the Korean guy's real name? Kim Won Jin, the Scorpion King. It's not as good as Scorpion King, of course. Operation Scorpio, that was a better movie. But I still enjoy Women on the Run. So there are times when I do like a bit of Cat 3. Best Cat 3 is probably Run and Kill with Simon Yam and Kent Chang. That's a pretty good one. Can't think what else right now, my mind's gone blank. Alright, next. Final Test. This is a strange film It's produced by Samo. I don't think he's in the film. I haven't seen it for a number of years. I remember Yuan Wah is in it, and it's something to do with a prototype robot being tested. If you've ever seen I Love Maria, aka Robo Force, is something along those lines. Like the robot malfunctions and they have to stop it. Something. I can't remember. I got a Chinese DVD with the weird echoey sound. Came out like 25 years ago. And I haven't watched it for many years. I should see it again. I remember enjoying it. Here's the other poster for that film. I prefer the artwork, of course. I'm not so keen on the photo posters. Here's a young looking Yuan Wah as the android in question. Flaming Brothers, Chow Yun-fat and Alan Tang. I was very sad when Alan Tang died. I really liked him. He's a great actor, made many good films. Now, I know this is not top of anyone's Chow Yun-fat list, but it is a very popular film. I've also got a Hong Kong poster for it. Sorry, a different Hong Kong poster. Another design, but it's a bit damaged. Oh, hold on, that's Just Heroes I'm thinking of. Scratch that. This is the only Hong Kong poster I have for the film. I also have the Thai poster. I got the Thai lobby cards. I quite enjoy the film. It's not my favourite, but it's got some good moments. Now, this is one of the extras that the guy sent me. And this is interesting in that it's copyright 1978. And it says on here, Golden Movie News. So, I'm assuming the Golden Movie News magazine had posters like this for sale whilst the magazine was in publication. And this would be one of the posters that you could buy from the magazine. I'm intrigued to know what other posters they had for sale. I don't have many issues of Golden Movie News, and I don't think the few that I've got say anything about posters for sale. I'm not sure. I should go back and have a look sometime. But it is rather an oddity and quite interesting to me. Here we have, of course, Game of Death, Bruce. This is the only Bruce that I bought from the guy. I think it's the only one he had. And I do need to get the others one day from this series. I don't like the Hong Kong versions, the Chinese language, especially for Game of Death. I dislike that poster. I like the American poster, which I do not have because it always goes for crazy money. And I never had this one until now. I'm not a big fan of Bruce. I know that he was an excellent martial artist, maybe one of the best who's ever lived. I enjoy his philosophy. I think he was a deeply intelligent thinker, and I rate Bruce very highly as a human being. However, I do not like the style of film that he made so much. Big Boss, Fist of Fury, Way of the Dragon, Enter the Dragon, they all have some good stuff, but I'm more of a Shapes guy. I'd rather watch Taiwanese Shape 78. Something like 7 Steps of Kung Fu. I get a lot more enjoyment out of that. Having said that, the official cut of Game of Death that Go and Harvest put out is of course awful. But a few years ago, well maybe 20 years ago, when Hong Kong Legends released their DVD box set, I got all of the Bruce films, including the Game of Death footage that Bruce shot cut together. It was a very stark contrast between the official release of the film. That 30 minutes of footage is by far the best work that Bruce ever did, and I will regret forever that he never got to finish that film. I would love to see what else he had planned. Now we all have an idea, we've heard script details and stuff. I would love to have seen it finished. Those 30 minutes are some of, not just Bruce's best, some of the best Hong Kong stuff. The nunchuck battle with Dan, great. So I do have a place in my heart for Game of Death. I wish that it was finished properly. Here we have Hapkido, Carter Wong, and of course Angela Mao. It's always seems strange to me how Carter gets top billing on the poster when it was more of an Angela Mao film, in my opinion. If you look at, say, the American lobby card set, it's all about Angela in comparison. So, bit of a weird one. That she does get top billing in the names, but Massive Carter and Little Angela. It's a bit strange to me. I'm kind of a fan of both of theirs sometimes. To me, this film was average. I wouldn't say it was a great film. It's not one of Harvest's best. For the time that it was made, it was pretty decent. But I prefer the later stuff. I prefer the Samo stuff. Like 76, we start getting the stuff that I prefer. And then 77, 78, 79, possibly 82. That's my bread and butter. That's where I feel most at home. I love those few years of films. And there were some good ones before, there were some good ones after, but in those 4 years, we seem to have gotten the stuff that I loved the most, generally speaking. Alright, so Himalayan, again, it's earlier Golden Harvest. Chen Xing, Tan Tao Liang, Angela Mao again. I'd say it's not as good as Hapkido. I'm not really a big fan of the Himalayan, but I do like the artwork. I've seen this one for sale a few times, but the price was too high. And I do have a full page colour print of this poster in one of the magazines that I have, probably one of the Golden Movie News magazines. So I've never been that bothered about the poster, but this time the price was right, so I thought I'd pick it up. If you haven't already figured it out, this is the Holy Virgin versus the Evil Dead. Ah, there it is, the name is on there. Now, I know it's not the greatest of films. I know it has gratuitous nudity. I know there's a lot of weirdness in there. I kinda like the weirdness. And when I was first starting out collecting these films, Eastern Heroes, who released this film on video in the UK, made a trailer for this film using the music from Electric Horseman. And that trailer just stuck in my memory. And I love that trailer. I usually don't like the new trailers that companies make these days. They're uniformly terrible. But this trailer was really well done, and I still love it. It's on YouTube. You can find the Made in Hong Kong and Eastern Heroes trailer reels if you look hard enough. And I still love it. It's a good film. This girl is great. Donnie is great. Ken Lo is great. Ken Lo is the villain. It's probably one of his finest moments. I also have the Thai poster for this, which is beautiful artwork. It's one of my favourites. Yeah, I like this film, and I'm so happy to get this poster at last. I've been after this for a long time. Here we have Horrible High Heels, Cat 3 film, famous for the mouse eating scene. It's not one of the good Cat 3 films. I didn't really like much about it at all, but it's quite notorious and a good Cat 3 archive piece. Here's the other freebie that I got sent. This is a Ewan Bew film called I Am Sorry. I've never seen the film. It looks like some kind of silly comedy. I would like to see it one day because I like Ewan Bew, but I don't think it's going to be anything that special. Here we have Time Warriors, also known as The Iceman Cometh, which is a good film that I enjoy very much. Yuen Wah, Maggie Cheung, great cast. I didn't like the Donnie Yen Iceman films very much. The original Iceman Cometh with Ewan Bew is far superior. And especially the scene where he's on the horse sticks in my memory very much. The sword fight on top of the building. There's some very good stuff in this film. I'm a big fan of it. This is In the Line of Duty Part 6, Forbidden Arsenal. Had to think about that. I also have the Hong Kong poster for Part 5, Middleman. I have the Thai posters for 1, 2, 3 and 4. I don't think I got the... Maybe I got the Thai poster for Middleman as well. I do have Forbidden Arsenal too. I don't have the Thai poster for Part 7, Sea Wolves, as far as I know. I do have 1 and 2. I have Royal Warriors and Yes Madam Thai posters. So I've got 1 to 6 in Thai posters. I've only got 5 and 6 on Hong Kong posters. I hope to have them all someday. I'm quite a big fan of Part 1. Oh, which way did they go? Which was first, Yes Madam or Royal Warriors? I think Yes Madam was Part 1. Some countries seem to get it confused and put them the other way around. I rather like Yes Madam. The action at the end of that is supreme. I love that sequence. Royal Warriors not so much. Part 3 not so much. Part 4, Donnie Yen, one of his better films. 5, 6 and 7 I don't really remember. I'm not sure if I even have the films now. I know I've seen them and I've sold them, and I don't think I kept copies. I should try and get them again. They're a good series. Here we have Iron Monkey. Now this is one I've had for many years. This is the better poster. However, there is a second poster which I just got from Hong Kong, and I don't remember ever seeing this before. I think this one is a lot more common, and it is the better poster. I think this one is harder to find, and I am a big fan of Yu Rongguang, and I just thought I need to get it while it's there. Iron Monkey is one of the better floaty people films, as I call them. Around the early to mid 90s, like 92, 94, there was a trend for new wave kung fu caused by Once Upon a Time in China, Jet Li. And I'm still not a big fan of most of those films. Having said that, the few that I do enjoy, Iron Monkey, and then the rest are pretty much Jet Li films. I like Once Upon a Time in China 2, Last Hero in China, Tai Chi Master, Fong Sai-yak, some of Fong Sai-yak 2. The end of that film is good. Jet Li did the floaty people the best, but outside of him, Iron Monkey, I'd say Iron Monkey is maybe better than the Jet Li films. I'm not sure. Jet did many which were quite good. I think Iron Monkey is the only new wave film that tops his work. I do like Iron Monkey very much. So good to have that. I also have the Hong Kong lobby set. I have the Thai poster. I don't think I have the American poster. No, I do have the American poster. Yeah, so I really like that film. Here we have Ironside 426, very early Golden Harvest crime film with Jason Pai Piao. I must admit, I've never seen it. I should one day. It looks interesting. Now this poster I've had for some years. This is from The Killer, as you can see here. And this is one of my favourite Hong Kong films. Unfortunately, it's a bit damaged. It was like that when I got it. I think I got it from Colin Geddes, possibly, in Canada. I got quite a lot from him for a short period of time in the early 2000s. So I've had this for about 20 years, I believe. And it is my favourite of the Killer posters. Maybe the Thai poster more. Yeah, I think I like the Thai poster more. This is my second favourite Killer poster. Now, I just got this one in from Hong Kong. It's not a particularly great poster in my opinion, but it is The Killer. I must have it. I also have the UK quad poster from Made in Hong Kong. I've got videotape, DVD. I've got a lot of stuff on the killer. Still need to get the Hong Kong lobby set one day. I've seen it for sale and I wasn't prepared to pay the price. I almost did because I really liked the film. One day I'll have it all. Here we have The Fearless Master, which is the international title for Knockabout. I do have the Hong Kong poster. I've had this for a long time. I think this also came from Canada. As you can see, it's got some fold wear and pinholes. I should upgrade one day if I get a chance to. It would be nice. This is a weird poster, and it's one of my favorite films of all time. This is from that time period I mentioned earlier. I believe it was 79. I'm not 100%. And this was when Sammo was at the peak of his powers. Everything Sammo did in 78, 79 was gold. Seriously. I love this film so much. Here we have Last Hurrah for Chivalry. Also, one of the best films ever made. Now, John Woo became famous for his gangster films, but in my opinion, he was also great at kung fu films. He did this one. He did Hand of Death, aka Countdown in Kung Fu, which I believe was 76. And I think that is one of the earlier Golden Harvest films that I'm really quite taken with. I love Hand of Death. It's a great film. And Last Hurrah for Chivalry is even better than Hand of Death. I am loopy for Last Hurrah. It's one of my favourite films of all time. And I've seen this poster a few times and I always think, oh, I wish I could get it, I wish I could get it. Now I got it. I'm pretty happy about that. I love this film. And here we have The Loot, aka Bloody Tattoo. This is the other low-Y film under the Goodyear brand, which has David Chang, Choi Sil-kung, Philip Kofe. We also have Lily Lee, Hwan Young-moon, Korean super kicker. And this is pretty high on my list of top films ever made. Surprisingly directed by Eric Chang, who I'm sad didn't direct more, because if you look at the films he did direct, he also did Legend of the Owl, which is a strange David Chang film, but it's really good. So I wish Eric Chang had directed more in those days, because he did a few good kung fus. I'm surprised at how good they turned out. Eric Chang is one of my favourite actors, actually. He's always good. Last Blood is possibly his best film, though he does verge on annoying in that film, but it works for that film. I love that film so much too. I really do. Right, here we have Lucky Stars Go Places. Probably the weakest of the Lucky Stars films, but the last 10 to 15 minutes is so entertaining. I love the end of this film with this Japanese guy. It's really fun. And Andy Lau, always good. I love almost anything Andy Lau did in the 80s. Not so much his recent stuff, but back then he was great. Now, this is the one that I bought forgetting that I already have it. This is the one that I've had for a number of years, which has some damage. And this is a slight upgrade. There's no fold damage on it. So if anyone's interested, this one is available for sale. This one I am keeping. Magic Cop is one of my favourite films. I love Lam Ching Ying. I love Michiko Nishiwaki. I love Billy Chowbele. I think Moon Lee was in it too. I haven't watched it in a few years, but I love this film and I need to see it again. It's been too long. Shanghai Express, aka Millionaires Express, English language version. I've also had the Hong Kong version for some time, which I must have saved under Shanghai instead of Millionaires Express. There's actually two Hong Kong posters. There's one that's portrait and photos. There's one that's landscape, which has a artwork caricature cast. And I really like that poster. I'm not showing you the picture of that, it's too rare. One of my rarest posters. Here we have Mr. Vampire. This is sadly the boring poster. There is a much better artwork poster that I don't have yet. I hope to find someday. Just a guy had it and the price was good, so I picked it up because I do quite like Mr. Vampire. It's not my favourite, but it's pretty good. I have the tie posters for Mr. Vampire 1, 2, 3 and 4. Vampire vs. Vampire, Mr. Vampire 92. I think I got the whole set in tie posters. But Hong Kong, I've got part 3, part 4, and now part 1. Still need to find the Hong Kong poster for part 2. Now, some of you may already realise, this is Naked Killer. This one I bought a few years ago from a Thai seller. Unfortunately, it is a bit damaged, but I'd never seen this version before, and I went mad when I saw it. It's not the key art to the film, but I kinda like that it's not the key art. I love this poster. It's great. However, everyone wants to have the key art for Naked Killer. It's iconic. When this film was released in England, MIA, Hong Kong Classics, did a box set, and I was probably 16 at the time. And I begged my mother, I said, it's a limited edition box set, I've got to buy it now or I'll never be able to get it. Here's the money, just come with me, buy it. If you don't want me to see it until I'm 18, I'm fine with that, just keep it somewhere. But when I'm 18, let me have it. My mother went, alright, well, I'll get it for you, and she let me have it then. She probably wasn't aware of the slightly graphic nature of some of it, even though the cover was a bit of a dead giveaway. But thank you, Mum. I was very happy that you did that for me. And now, thanks to the Hong Kong guy, we have the key art. And I am so pleased to have these. I do like this poster more. I think it's a better poster in some ways. It's not provocative in the way that these are. And I often prefer the lesser known posters. But very happy to have these. I've always liked these people. They are very pretty, of course. Sadly, I still need to find a poster where she has the bandolier of bullets. I'm assuming there was an actual poster of that. I'm not sure. Need to research that and check. Anyway, 3 posters from Naked Killer. Pretty good going. Here we have On the Run, Yuan Bu, Yuan Moi. I think that's Pat Ha Manjik. I haven't watched a film in many years. From what I remember, it was a pretty good noir thriller. I like the Thai poster far more, of course. The artwork on it is very nice, but good film. And I'll get anything with Yuan Bu on it if the price is right. I'm quite a big fan of his. Here we have, as many of you will already be aware, Once a Thief. Now, although it is not Chow Yun-fat's finest hour, sorry, I'm a bit tired, I'm stumbling over my words, it is a very enjoyable film. And I really like Leslie Cheung, and in this film he was great. In this film, Chow Yun-fat was on classic comedic form. I loved him. Cherry Chung managed to be good without being irritating, as some actresses often can be. There's a lot to like about this film. It's not got as good action as the John Woo films, of course, but then what does? And I enjoy Once a Thief very much. And this guy happened to have 3 posters for it. So I picked them all up whilst I could. Again, I prefer the Thai poster. I think the artwork is good. These are all photo posters, which I'm not so keen on, but I couldn't resist. I had to get them. Now, some of you will already be aware that Operation Condor is pretty much the film that started it all for me. It's the first one I bought. and I still love the film. Again, some of the comedy in it is a bit grating. The first 30 minutes of the film is a lot of stuff that I'm not so keen on, especially the stuff with Dodo Chang running around that desert hotel with the gun. It's silly. I didn't like most of that stuff. But halfway through, where they find the Nazi base, oh my god, the film is so good. Everything inside the Nazi base is awesome. That wind tunnel fight, extraordinary. Never seen anything else like it. May never see anything else like it again in my life. I love that so much. And that was the film that started my obsession with Hong Kong films. I've seen a few of the Low White Jackies before that I borrowed from Keith, and they were okay, but they weren't awesome. But then I saw this, and it was awesome. And I've never had the Hong Kong posters for it before. I have the Japanese poster, the German poster, the Thai poster. First time I got the Hong Kong poster, 2 different ones. Condition not 100%, a little bit of border wear. I do like that film. I love that image. Asian Hulk. Sadly, part 3, Golden Zodiac, not good at all. I didn't like that film. Of the 3 Armour of God films, part 2, by far the best for me. Painted Faces. Now, I've had the Hong Kong poster for many years. As you can see, rather bashed up. I've only ever seen this for sale one time, and this was the time that I bought it. Never seen it again. So despite the condition, I think it's a very rare poster and hard to find. And just got from Hong Kong, the English language. I must admit I've never seen the film. I got a copy of it, I've never watched it. I really should sometime. Here we have Paper Marriage. Again, I have the Hong Kong poster from Canada. Condition bit worn, could be worse. I prefer the Thai poster again. Thai poster has really nice art. Sorry I'm not showing you all of these Thai posters, but I'm in a bit of a rush to get this done. Here we have Peacock King, and I've had this one for many years. Hong Kong guy had one in better condition. So as you can see, a lot of issues with it. Damage, lots of fold wear. So it's nice to upgrade. I wouldn't say it's in my top 10 films or anything, but I do rather like Peacock King. It's not 100%, but it's definitely an upgrade over the last one. There's some border wear down here. There's a little bit of fold wear, but when you compare this to this, it's a definite upgrade. So this one is available if anyone's interested. I'm going to keep this one. Here we have version 2. I also have the Thai poster and the Japanese poster. Now, this is the #1 reason that I had to buy from this guy. So, the first film that I bought myself was Operation Condor, and that was late '94. And I'm not sure if it was '94 or '95 that I bought Dragon Fist and Enter the Dragon and some other stuff, Drunken Master, started building up the collection. But for that Christmas, my mother asked me, as she often did, I don't know what you want for Christmas. What do you want? And I just said to her something along the lines of, this Jackie Chan movie is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Please find me more. So she went to the Virgin Megastore, and at this time, Made in Hong Kong and Eastern Heroes were around, but they weren't that easy to find. And she pretty much just went into the Virgin Megastore and said, have you got any Jackie Chan movies? And they happened to have Police Story 2 and Police Story 3. So, having seen Operation Condor and it being one of the best things I've ever seen in my life, I was hoping that Police Story 2 and 3 would also be awesome. And they didn't disappoint. There's a lot of good stuff in there. So those two films, along with Condor, have a very sacred place in my heart. I love them. And in all of my years, I've been collecting these films for 29 years now, I have never, ever seen this poster. I've never even seen a picture of it in a magazine or on the internet. I did not know that this poster exists. And the moment I saw it, I fell in love. And I just said, that's it. I've got to get that. And I'll try and find something else to make it worthwhile going through all of the time and the expense of getting stuff from this guy. So happy I have it. Again, a little bit of damage, but very, very rare in my opinion. Never seen it before. I also had this poster. I've had a very nice image of this in an Impact magazine for many years, but never had the poster until now. And he also had Police Story 1. There's a lot of good stuff in Police Story 1, but like Armour of God, I feel the comedy drags on for too long and much of it is not that funny. Especially the stuff with Bridget Lynn, with the tape recording. Gets boring. But, of course, Police Story is one of the greatest films ever made. The action in that film is outstanding. Don't really like the Thai poster or the Hong Kong poster. They're both photos and they're not particularly interesting. The Japanese poster is a lot better, the one that has Jackie on the motorbike. I only have the Shirashi. Do I have the actual poster? I'm not sure. I might. I need to check that. Anyway, I like the Japanese version more. But very happy to have this anyway. Here we have Postman Fights Back, aka Messenger of Death. Chow Yun-fat, Lung Kar-yan, Fan Mei-shan, Yoon Shun-yi, and I can't remember her name. I believe Eddie Ko was also in the film playing the White Ninja. Very strange film, but I love it. I haven't seen it in years. I can't remember very much. Must be at least 10 years since I watched it. I need to see it again. It's good. Here we have Mr. Boo, aka Private Eyes. This is one of my favourite films of the Hui brothers. I think it is their best film, actually. Some of their stuff isn't so good, like Games Gamblers Play I didn't find particularly good. For me, their best films are Private Eyes and Security Unlimited. Yeah, those are by far the two best that they did. And I got a lot of different things from this film. I got the Japanese program. I got a Mexican poster, which is huge. It's like 6 feet wide. And it's got 2 different posters for the film. And it's got 8 lobby cards in the middle. I've seen it sold as a bus stop poster. I had that for about 20 years. And I have a strange Christmas memory of my grandparents being over one Christmas. And I got this in Hong Kong on VCD in 1999 when I went there. And I watched it on Christmas Day when the family were there. There was nothing else on TV, so I put on Private Eyes to try and make them see what I see. None of them were particularly impressed by it. They didn't like it. I still think it's one of the greatest comedies of all time. The scene with the sausage chucks and the shark's teeth cracks me up every time. So good. I also have the Yugoslavian poster, and I think the Japanese poster. I'll get anything from the film. I think it's great. Prodigal Son, enough said. One of the greatest action films of all time. Definitely the best Frankie Chan has ever looked in an action film. Lam Ching-ying was good in that. Yuen Biao was good. Sammo was good. Some of the comedy was a bit meh, especially the toilet gag. Didn't like that very much. But mostly the film is awesome. And here we have the better poster, the artwork one. Sadly a bit damaged, some creases running through it. But very happy to have. Excuse me. Project A. I love Project A. I love Project A Part 2 as well. Again, didn't like some of the comedy. Project A1 is a better film than Part 2. It's a very different film though. I like the action in Part 2 more, frankly, with the pirate gang. Oh, that end fight in the restaurant where he takes the chair away, the axe. So good. I love the end of Project A Part 2. That's probably one of my most watched films. The last 20 minutes of Project A Part 2, again and again. I love it. But Project A Part 1 is also very good. And here we got the English language, and then the two different Hong Kong posters. Very happy to have these. I also have the Thai poster for Project A. And I think that's it. I got the two Japanese souvenir books. Yeah, I don't think I got any other international posters for it, sadly. But Project A is one of my favourite films. But like I said, I like the action in Part 2 more. Here we have The Protector. Not a great film. But I have two German lobby car posters. I got the American poster, the Japanese poster, three different Thai posters. I got the Hong Kong lobby set, the Thai lobby set. Have I got the Hong Kong lobby? Yeah, I think I do. The Hong Kong and the Thai lobby set. I definitely got two different sets of lobbies from it. So I got a lot of stuff on the film. And I got the Japanese program as well. Here's another Protector poster, Hong Kong version. I just got these in from Hong Kong, from the guy. So, good to have the set. Here we have Above the Law, or Righting Wrongs. Now, I have had a Hong Kong poster from this for years. Unfortunately, another rather damaged one. I hope to upgrade that someday. But first time I got this. I do have a Above the Law poster from, I think, Pakistan, which has the same artwork but Pakistani writing on it. I'm not sure what you call it apart from Pakistani writing. I'm assuming that's the language they speak there. I could be wrong. But anyway, this Hong Kong guy also had this version, which I've never seen before. So I picked that up. Very pleased to have that. Iconic. Here we have Rosa, which is a very strange film, but very good action. Wei Ying Hung. And unfortunately politically incorrect, but I don't care. I'll watch it again anyway. I used to have the DVD of this film, but I sold it about 20 years ago when I needed some money. And I sold a few things back then, and I vowed that I would never ever do that again. Because some of those things, including this film, proved to be hard to find again afterwards. I know there was a re-release, but I didn't have the funds at the time to get the re-release. I had a few years where things were pretty tough. But now I keep everything, and I will never let these go. Here we have Rosa Design B. This guy, Lo Kun Ting. Very underrated comedy actor. He's incredibly funny. And Wei Ying Hung in that sweater. Love her. Yoon Bu, love him. Rosa is a top film. If you love action, you need to see it. Here we have Portrait of a Nymph with Yoon Bu. I've had it on DVD for 20 years. I've never watched it. It's plainly trying to recapture the magic of a Chinese ghost story. Here we have a Wu Ma like. It might actually be the man himself. I'm not sure. I think it is. And here we have Joey Wong from a Chinese ghost story. So it's a Chinese ghost story with Yoon Bu instead of Leslie Chung, is my understanding. And I should watch it. I got the DVD, I just never put it in the machine. One day. Here we have School on Fire. I'm not a particularly big fan of the film, but it is quite notorious. It's got a bit of a reputation, and it does have some good actors. I'm not sure of the names of all of these people, but I know Tommy Wong Kwong Lung, and I recognise this guy, I recognise this guy, and this guy, and this guy, and it's got a good cast. They did well in the film. It's not really my kind of film though, but it was there, so I picked it up. Here we have Sex and Zen. I do not like the international poster that's mostly black. This poster is so-so. I used to have the other poster with the two ladies riding a horse, the landscape one, and unfortunately I swapped it with someone, and I thought I'd get it again one day, and it's proved to be hard to find. There is one on the internet for sale. It's a bit expensive. I'm not going to pay that much. I swapped it with my friend Bomb, and in return he gave me the Thai poster for Who Holds the Golden Key. Now, I have never ever seen another copy of that poster in the 16 years I've been here. Seems to be a very rare poster, and even though it's not in the best condition, I am extremely pleased to have it. I was hoping to get Sex and Zen back from Bomb at some point in another trade, but he sold it to someone else, so that's not happening. But I don't hold it against him for getting me that Who Holds the Golden Key. I still owe you thanks. I don't know where you got it from, and I don't know if I'll ever see another one. Anyway, so I got the other Sex and Zen poster, and I'm not really keen on the film at all, but again, I collect Cat 3 stuff for the archive, and this is one of the most notorious. I don't think I've ever really liked anything Amy did except for possibly Robo Tricks. Some of that was good, mostly for Billy Chow, who I do love very much. Oh, here's the other Shanghai Express poster. This one I've had for many years. I prefer the other version, the artwork, but it's all good to have. So many good people in that film though. I know all of their names. You ask me who anyone on this poster is, I know every person's name. Same with Eastern Condors. Every person in that film, I know their name. They're all so good. Alright, so here we have Shanghai, Shanghai. Again, a bit damaged, sadly. Not keen on the photo version. I think the Thai poster, which is artwork, is better. Also got this one just in. Actually, I think this is the best of the posters I've seen from the film. I like the artwork. Very good likeness of Samo. People in the background, not so much. Yoon View, obviously. It's not the best film ever, but it's half good. Here we have Shaolin Plot, Golden Harvest, Carter Wong, Casanova Wong, bit of Samo in there as one of the villains. It's not my favourite. This was about the time that Samo was starting to become good. He was not yet great. Shaolin Plot is a pretty decent film, but there are many that I think are better. Here we have Story of Ricky, another notorious one for the Cat 3 archive. If you have never seen this film, this is one of the better of the Cat 3 films. I don't believe there's any sex in it. I think the Cat 3 label is for violence, and oh, is it violent. I don't want to give away too much, but if you like violence and comedy and comic bookish, it is a very fun film. I like it a lot. Maybe Fan Sil Wong's finest moment. It's not Yukari Oshima's finest moment. She's done a lot of better stuff, but Fan Sil Wong is one of his best films. Here we have Sweet Surrender, Frankie Chan. Sadly, it's got this kind of ripply damage through it, And there's some damage there, and there's some dirt there. It's not in the best condition. I do like Frankie Chan very much, and I will get anything with his face on it. This film is not one of his best. It's more of a comedy, rom-com than an action film. There is some action in it, but it's not his best work. But I will get anything with him. I do like him very much. Here we have The Sword, starring Adam Cheng. I must admit, I do not remember much about this film. I do have it. I have seen it. I forgot it. So I don't think it's particularly memorable. I should try it again someday. Now, this is another big reason why I decided to buy from this guy. This is, in case you haven't already guessed, from Tiger Cage 2, which is a very, very good film. I'm a pretty big fan. There we have Donnie. Here we have David Wu. Here we have Robin Shu. This guy, I don't know his name, I must admit. Unfortunately, it's not a particularly good poster. Doesn't show you any of the action of the film. There's also this poster that I just got with the girls from the film. These are possibly two of the worst posters I've ever seen for an action film. The Thai poster for this is 100 times better. It's beautiful art. And we also have Tiger Cage 1. This one I've had for many years. This one I've had for many years. And the one that I just bought, I thought afterwards, oh no, I've already got it. It's this one. And then when they came, I realized, oh no, I don't already have it. Those are portrait. This is landscape. And it's bigger. And it's prettier than this one. Unfortunately, this one got bashed up the worst of all the stuff that the Hong Kong guy sent me. It's bigger than most of the other stuff. And because he rolled them up and then he wrapped them up and then he dropped them in the tube. And because he rolled and wrapped it, it was bouncing about, moving inside the tube, and the ends got bashed. So a few of the posters suffered from that. I'm not particularly happy about it, but I have no control over what other people do, sadly. When I send posters, I roll them up in some brown paper, this stuff, and I do not tape it shut. I do not wrap it in anything else. I roll them up, I drop it in the tube, and then I gently shake the tube and it puffs out to its full size. And the friction between the paper and the posters hold the posters in place. The paper will always be longer than the posters on each end, so that if anything gets bashed up, it will be the paper and not the posters. I wish more people did it that way. Sadly, they don't. Next, Tiger of Northland. I must admit, I do not own a copy of this film. I've never seen it. I do have the synopsis, but I've never watched the film. It doesn't look great. Now, this is another reason why I thought I must buy from this guy. Sadly, a bit of border wear, but I am a very, very big fan of Tiger on Beat. As I said earlier, I usually don't like new trailers that people make. I would much rather see the original trailer. However, the Made in Hong Kong trailer for Tiger on Beat, with that song, Ikoka Me Lai Wai. The moment I saw that trailer, I fell in love with this film. There are so many good people in this film. A lot of Shaw Brothers people. Philip Ko, Gordon Liu, Choi Sil Kung, Lau Gar Lung, of course. May he rest in peace. And it's probably Conan Lee's second best film. His best, of course, is Ninja and the Dragon's Den. But I love almost everything about this film, especially the chainsaw fight at the end. And this is, I think, the best poster for the film. And I am so deliriously happy to have this at last. I've been after this poster for years. Here we have Game of Death 2, Tower of Death, English version. And we have the Hong Kong version. I don't really know why they decided to go mostly black and white. I don't think it's a good look, personally. I've seen better posters for the film. I actually rather like this film. It's a shame that they're trying to cash in on Bruce. And the moment where they put a cutout of Bruce's face on a mirror was pretty awful. But there's a lot of good stuff in this film. Huang Jiangli, Li Hoi-san, good cast, good action. The story's a bit iffy, to say the least. But the film's a lot of fun. The man in the lion suit was pretty bad too. I must admit. But there is a lot to like about this film, and I especially thought the finale was quite good. I enjoyed it very much. Here we have Wheels on Meals. This is another one that I've had for some years. This is the one that I've had for a long time. As you can see, some rather bad fold damage. So, Hong Kong guy had this one. Definitely an upgrade. Little bit of border damage from shipping, sadly. But I think it's definitely a large step up from the one I had. So I'm going to keep this one. If anyone's interested in this one, please do contact me and let me know. Here we have Winners and Sinners, aka 5 Lucky Stars. This is another film that I got early in my fandom of Asian films. And I watched this film many times. It is pretty funny. The action in it takes a while to come, but it is pretty good action. And that end in the warehouse, Samo with the stick. It's not the best, but it's pretty good. I do enjoy this film. Some of the comedy goes on too long. Richard Dung is a bit too much in it, but there's some good stuff. I enjoy watching it. And the last one, Young Master. Like I said earlier, it's a toss-up between this and Fearless Hyena as to which is the best Jackie Chan 1980-79 era film. Fearless Hyena is the first one that he directed. Young Master is the first one where he had seemingly complete creative control. Both films are very high quality action. I love them both so much. And I'm very pleased to have this. I have a Thai poster from it, French poster, La Danse du Lion. I've got a Belgian poster. I've got a number of different posters from around the world. But I think this one with the iconic pose is probably the best one. So that's what I got. It was a happy day. It made an old man very happy. Some of those things I've been looking at pictures of for many years, thinking, oh, I wish I could get that maybe one day. However, there's still a lot that I need to find. The search continues. If anyone out there has any materials for sale, including posters from Asian films, particularly Hong Kong action films, please do let me know. I might be interested. That's all for now, everyone. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're still with me, thank you for watching. Please check out the website worldmovieposters.co.uk and consider buying something you like for your collection. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye for now. Until next time.